everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to share with you how I made this 4th of July thank you card. I thought this would be great for if you make cards for the soldiers or you want to send a thank you to the soldiers this 4th of July. I thought this would be a very quick and easy card that you could whip out, and also it's one that you could make multiples of. So if you are one of those that makes them for the servicemen and donate to a charity, this one is for you. Now I am using the Grungy Flag background stamp set from Joy Claire Stamps. This is a beautiful, clear, full background stamp set. I have a piece of cardstock that is a little bit bigger and quite a bit longer, so I can use my MISTI for this stamping. I'm using some red ink. The exact color is Ladybug from Memento. If you're curious about what exactly supplies I used for this, I do always leave them linked down below. But the majority of the time, I always tell you, if you have a red ink that will work, use that. If you're going to have a blue ink that will work, use that. If you have a red cardstock that will work, by all means, use what you have. Goodness knows we all have enough craft supplies, probably. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up the very bottom stripes of this flag with that red ink. Now I stamped these about 3 times. That's why I'm using my MISTI to really get that nice rich dark color. Then for the top where the stars are, I'm going to be going in with some blue. This is, I'm not exactly sure of the color, but again, if you're interested in the color, it will be linked down below as well. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and again, I will be stamping this multiple times. That's why I'm using my MISTI here today. You can use your stamp positioner that you have on hand, and if you don't have one, I stamp these backgrounds without a stamp positioner all the time. The only reason I used it today was because I knew I wanted to build up that red on the bottom, to be honest. So I will leave a link to that video where I share how you can stamp the backgrounds without a stamp positioner in the top right hand corner, and a few tips and tricks on really getting that pressure down onto that cardstock. So there's a look at that stamp all ready to go. Now I'm going to trim this out. I want this to measure about 4 inches by, or 3 3/4 inches, excuse me, by 5 1/2 inches. I will be placing this onto a top folding card base that is A2 in size. Again, I've got a video all about making card bases. I'll leave that linked in the top right hand corner if you are curious about that. So I went ahead and trimmed that down to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And now I went to go ahead and make my sentiment panel strip here. So I have a piece of white cardstock that measures 1 inch, and I am going to stamp thanks so much on that. And this is from the Joy Claire Stamps Hello Sentiment stamp set. I'm using the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, which is a pigment black ink that I like to stamp my sentiments in. I'll go ahead and stamp that down, and I am not worried about positioning right now. I just want to make sure that they are centered in the middle, vertically, not horizontally, because I'll be trimming it down. I want to mat this panel onto a piece of red cardstock that is 1/4 inch bigger, so wider, so about 1 1/4 inches. And then on the back of that, I'm going to place some more double-sided adhesive and angle this to go over that flag card base. And that's why I didn't worry so much about where it was stamped at on the cardstock, because I'm going to trim this down. So I went ahead and centered that up on the panel, and then I'll just trim that down with my scissors. It's that simple and easy to do. That way you don't have to do any measuring or exact cutting. You could just place it on there and snip it off where it needs to be. So there's a closer look at that sentiment. I love the combination of fonts that are used in that stamp set, so you can build up tons of different sentiments. For that flag banner that has the sentiment on it, I'm going to mat this on a piece of cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So it's not going to have any overhang on the bottom or the top because that's the full length of the card base, but it will have a little bit of overhang on the left and right side for a nice little red mat. And then I'm going to place that onto the card base that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, top folding, and it's white. I made it myself. Now that does it for the card today. You can finish this off on the inside however you want with another sentiment, a handwritten note. You could leave it blank and give this as a gift set to a serviceman if you want to. But that does it for me today. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. I want to thank you for watching and happy crafting as always.